The last part of that statement by Kitase, you know how it feels. You were able to have that synchronous feeling. You were emotional at the ending, as you were able to be immersed in the story and genuinely understand what Cloud was feeling and what Cloud was going through. Going back and addressing the title of this video, did the devs' plans for the ending succeed? What's up, MLWJRPG here. Today we will discuss the recent interview hosted by the Anime News Network with FF7 devs Endo, Hamaguchi, and Kitase. Anime News Network is a website that publishes news, reviews, and articles about anime, gaming, and related media, and is one of the most popular websites for fans in the space. The community associated with this website is large, and it's a credible source. The interview lasted about an hour, and the topics discussed included some gameplay aspects and more player freedom in part 3 of the trilogy, the stamp variants and their association with different timelines, and most importantly, ending and Aerith's fate. Kitase and Hamaguchi had some extremely interesting comments about the ending. The end of Rebirth remakes one of the most famous cutscenes in video game history for new audiences. Some reactions post-game included confusion over how to interpret the new development of this scene. What reaction was the staff hoping to garner from players, and what message did you want? Or do you have a comment for players who feel this new version of events is confusing or unsatisfying? Hamaguchi then responds with this: when I play tested this game and went through run-throughs countless numbers of times, I thought that the players who were going to play Rebirth were going to have various perspectives and thoughts about the ending. Hamaguchi knew they were cooking well ahead of time because the variety of reactions and interpretations of the ending confirmed these words rather quickly.
It was in my head that as that scene is happening, you're watching Cloud actively repress shit. You're watching him, he's saying it and he's repressing it. He is saying those things in the moment. He's saying all the stuff he says from the OG game, but he's repressing it. All you're getting is like him crying and pretty much falling the fuck apart.
I do not think she's dead. I believe there is OG Aerith that died. That's what we see. That's what Sephiroth is showing us. I believe the second Aerith is there, but is she stuck somewhere? Just like Zack is? Maybe. And I think there might be another Aerith, the one that is sleeping. There's also the one that is sleeping with Cloud in that world over there.
And I'm telling you, this is him rationalizing how she's standing there now, Advent Children Aerith. This is him rationalizing how that's even possible, right? So then later she can be with him.
I think that it is a multiverse of sorts. I think it kind of becomes undeniable to me after this.
I do not think that she's really gone. Since this is like a multiverse kind of ending, the entire game has been those kind of multiverse. Yeah, I do not believe that all the Aeriths are dead. I believe we might have one or a few of them.
This could either be a phenomenal third movie, right? You know what I mean? Like, it could be, they could nail it, or this could be Matrix 3, where they missed the whole point of what I think the Matrix was about, and suddenly it's like, and he's blind Jesus.
I thought he was just seeing visions of another Aerith there.
Exactly.
But it could also just be like the live stream Aerith is communicating with him, and
Omni Aerith.
I don't think it's, I don't know if it's Omni Aerith though. I think Omni Aerith is something different. I think this is Aerith that died, went to the Aerith that died went to the live stream and is just talking with him.
Seeing visions of Aerith, but he knows everything's gonna be okay too because he sees her and he feels her. And Red could sense her too. Bro, man. Making grown men cry.
And these are but only a tiny fraction of the amounts of discussion around the ending and what is to become of Aerith. Continuing on with Hamaguchi's response, we had already announced from the beginning that this remake series would be a trilogy, so when we considered releasing 3 titles, of course there will be some time between releasing 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. I discuss how we want the community to interact while they're waiting for the next installment. Kitase-san and I were discussing this, but we thought it's very enjoyable for the community to have something very worthy of intense discussion, like what is really going on here. That was something we wanted and expected going into creating this scene. In terms of the experience, we anticipated and also desired. I think we are satisfied in that there are both negative and positive reactions to this scene. The devs are literally telling us here that they had plans to have the fan base discussing the ending for the years leading up to part 3, which makes perfect sense. You definitely want debate, discussion, theories, something to actually talk about while we're anticipating the release of part 3. And of course, the ending revolves primarily around multiple timelines and Aerith's fate. Anyone who tells you the devs are wrong or tells you otherwise lies to you and themselves. You can hop on YouTube right now and search for videos on the ending of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There are hundreds of videos with reactions, theory crafting, breakdowns, and analysis about the ending and what people think are going to happen to Aerith. Is she gonna live? Is she fake? Is she Genova? Whatever. There's tons of interpretations, theories out there, but the common theme is, and what has consistently been said by the devs, is Aerith's fate is up in the air. She's not confirmed to be dead, and she is not confirmed to be alive. It shouldn't surprise you that the question of Aerith's fate always appears during every dev interview. Obviously, it came up for this one I'm discussing right now. Last month, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Summoning a Masterpiece live stream, it came up as well.
So obviously, loads of you have played the game. Everyone's got their own take on it, their idea how this is probably what happens. I think this might have happened. Do you want to know what actually happened? Yes.
There is no confirmation of Aerith's fate, and the devs consistently portray this. Kitase then added on to what Hamaguchi said about creating discussion, theory, and debate about the ending and Aerith by providing more context specifically to the moment between Cloud and Aerith. Also, to add to this and offer an alternate perspective, when discussing the scenario with Nomura and Nojima, we were also talking about how in the original, it's showing Cloud's perspective, his feeling of immense loss, his feeling of losing someone that you love, and having this hole in your heart. When considering how to depict this in the remake series, we also thought about not only expressing the loss of someone who means so much to you, but also the sense of a person experiencing loss, being unable to force yourself to forget this person, and almost like an inability to accept it, struggling with the possibility of losing someone. So that was something we wanted to show in Rebirth. Take a moment really to read and take in what Kitase said here. Oh, and by the way, Kitase is on the record saying this several times with slight variations, but every time he's pointing in the same direction. It's showing Cloud's perspective, his feelings of immense loss of losing someone that you love. It can't be any more obvious. Regarding the original, its first disc ends with that huge loss, and I recall some people not even wanting to continue playing and changing over to disc 2 because they didn't want to play anymore because of that. It's such a huge feeling of loss and despair, but I do think there's a synchronization of feelings between players and Cloud, struggling with how do I deal with this feeling, the feeling of loss, and how a person struggled to take that on was happening. We imagine the players of Rebirth would also have that synchronous feeling. If you, as the player, were able to play the game and take in the story for what it is and what the devs intend to show, the last part of that statement by Kitase, you know how it feels. You were able to have that synchronous feeling. You were emotional at the ending, as you were able to be immersed in the story and genuinely understand what Cloud was feeling and what Cloud was going through. Going back and addressing the title of this video, did the devs' plans for the ending succeed? At this particular juncture, yes. Their plans did succeed, and they should be very proud of themselves. The ending is the most talked about topic in the game, and there is the most content available across all social media platforms and media services that have discussed it and what is to become of Aerith. And I wholly expect the discussion topic to continue to be discussed and especially come up at each dev interview and event upcoming over the years leading up to part 3.